Hello, and welcome to Body Language by EmbodyYou. I'm Annette and I'm so glad you're here. This show is where we take a step back from the shoulds and the should nots of social media and really learn what your body is saying and how to speak its language. We're going to dive into topics like gut health, birth control, cycle health, and give you real-world, honest examples of what these actually might mean to you. My goal is to create a space that you can come back to whenever you need a reset or just don't know how to go forward. New episodes will be released weekly, and I cannot wait to take you along with this journey. Let's get started. We are back with another episode of Body Language by EmbodyYou, and I'm so excited for today's episode because we're talking about a really core belief shift that we have every single girl in our program make. That will be the reason you actually start to see results and keep them on your fitness journey. And it's the idea that knowing what to do is not the problem. Feeling safe enough to commit is. This episode is for you if you find yourself in a spot where you're just like, why can't I continue making progress? Why do I feel like I'm falling on and off? Why am I in this all or nothing mindset? And why does it just feel so hard for me to make my fitness journey happen? It's something that's taking the back burner when life gets in the way and work and school and kids and everything. And all of my commitments stand in front of my wellness, which is completely backwards, right? And it's why you don't feel well, right? It's why you don't feel happy or confident or excited for the vacation that you have to put on the swimsuit because you're like, great, now I'm going to suffer because I feel insecure. And it's completely backwards. And I'm going to teach you today exactly how you're going to shift that mindset step by step. So the first topic I want to talk about today is about failed attempts, right? And past experiences that you've had with your wellness journey that didn't work. And what I'm here to tell you is that failed attempts are not evidence, right? They're just unprocessed experience. So maybe you've tried something in the past that was really restrictive or all or nothing, or it felt like it was coming from a place of punishment and not support. Well, I'm here to tell you, you have not failed. You've honestly just repeated the same approach in different uniforms, right? So if your approach always is coming from a direction of, okay, I need to lock in 100%. I can't mess up. No sweet treats in the house. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing this, this, and this. And you start taking things away. That's when you fall into that restrictive mindset. And it's like someday you're going to crack and you're going to go 100 miles an hour the opposite direction. And you're going to be like, give me all the bad food. I want to eat 10 cookies versus the one cookie. I'm going to binge drink. I'm going to binge eat. And I'm going to feel even worse about myself and so upset that I failed. And that's the thing, right? Is we put ourselves in a position where we're like, I'm going to fail if I'm not perfect. And that has been what's disguised. And I'm guessing all of your attempts in the past to be successful with your fitness journey. So the good news here is if you've only ever tried extremes, you've never tried sustainability, which is, that is like a new door open to like sunshine and rainbows. And you're like, wait, this whole time didn't have to suck. I don't have to hate everything that goes into having this body that I kind of like, but I'm really miserable. And that's what we teach our girls at EmbodyYou is that it's not about another attempt. It's about attempting with a different framework than before. We don't ask our girls, well, did you try hard enough? We ask them, well, was the plan built for you? It's like trying to fit into someone's shoe size that's completely different than you, or someone's mold of their body or their clothes if they're a completely different person than you or size or shape. We don't try to fit ourselves in other people's things when we know they weren't meant for us, right? The same thing goes for wellness. If you keep following an influencer's what I eat in a day, or you keep following, workouts that you see online and you're like, this is going to get me toned. This is going to get me what I want. And you keep not getting that. It's not your fault, right? And it's so defeating. And you're like, what am I doing wrong? It has to be me. I'm just not dedicated enough. It has nothing to do with your commitment. I wouldn't keep doing something that wasn't working for me either. I mean, that goes in so many different areas of your life. If you're, if you have a friend that it's just not working, your friendship is just like, oh my gosh, it's butting heads all the time. You always are getting in fights. You wouldn't just keep going. Same thing if you were dating someone or you were married and you were like, wow, this is just not working. This is not giving me what I want. Am I going to keep going? Probably not, right? It's the same thing. And that's why I don't blame you if you're like, I've given up. And I talk to a lot of girls and they're like, I'm just so stuck and I don't know what to do. I'm so stuck. I feel like something's wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. You just haven't had a plan that actually fits your body. And the real reason why you can't stick to things is because your body doesn't trust you. Your body keeps score, right? It remembers every failed attempt. It remembers every time you gave up. It remembers every time you told yourself, hey, this is not going to work, right? It remembers every time you've overtrained and you've burnt out or you've underate, right? Your body remembers that. And so when you put yourself in a position where you're like, I am going to do this again, your body's like, whoa, no, I know what happened last time. I'm going to keep you safe, right? That's just protection. It has nothing to do with your motivation or how successful you are, how amazing you are. It's literally what your body was designed to do. Keep you alive. And that means not putting you in a position where it thinks something bad could happen, right? It needs to trust you and it needs to trust that path that it's going to be yours and it's going to actually work. We have a lot of girls come to our program that already know what they're doing, right? They know about macros. They know how to work out. They don't need someone standing next to them in the gym teaching them how to work out, how to move, right? They're like, I know what to do. I just can't do it. And that just shows me, yes, you might know exactly what that all means, but you haven't met it in a way that it met you, right? It doesn't know you the way that you feel like you know macros or workouts, right? Your body hasn't found something that's sustainable and that works for your body. And a client that comes to mind is Angie. She was in this position where she was literally a gym rat when she joined our program. She was like, I don't know. I feel like, I know what I'm doing, but also I'm kind of missing a part. Like I don't have the results that I feel like I should have with what I'm doing. And so she joined our program and all she really needed to do was slow the pace, increase her food, and like have some sort of guidance that actually was going to help her reach her goal, right? Because right now what she was doing was checking the boxes. Yes, she was going to the gym. She knew how to track her food. She knew what protein was, right? She had all of that knowledge, but she was like, but where are the results, right? And we had to break her out of that cycle of like, well, you haven't found something that your body actually trusts. And I was in that cycle for so long. I was like, I'm going to the gym. I'm eating like straight protein, chicken and rice. I was doing the thing, but my results weren't there until I learned. I was like, oh, because I was, being too restrictive, or I wasn't eating enough, or I wasn't actually exercising in a way that was ideal for my body and, my physique or my life or whatever I was dealing with. I didn't have someone that actually was like, okay, objectively, this is what you need, right? And so we do that for all of our girls. And when we did that for Angie, everything changed. Like her tummy toned so fast and her glutes grew so fast. And it was like every gym girl's dream, right? She was building the abs and building the booty at the same time. And it was the coolest thing because it just reminds me that trust comes first, right? Results come second. And that's what we teach all of our girls is that your body, your dream body is a byproduct of your dream mind, right? It's about trust with yourself and learning your body language and learning what does my body actually need right now? Am I giving myself grace or am I, making excuses? Do I actually have a plan that I know if I stick to, I will see change? Or am I kind of just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks and thinking, well, I'm doing all the right things. I'm checking the boxes, but at what point, at what cost, right? But the big part I want to touch on where I think this really manifests is the commitment part of it, right? You might say like, oh, I need to check with someone. I need to, look into my finances, so-and-so, but it's really just a fear, right? You actually have this fear or this voice in the back of your head that's like, you're going to fail again. You're not going to actually stick to it. 6 months, that's a really long time. What if you just waste your time and your money? Keep myself safe. And they just sit there and they're like, well, if I succeed, then I'm going to have to actually maintain this, right? And I have to like make this change and it's going to happen overnight. And what if I'm not ready to commit to doing that right now? It's not supposed to happen overnight. Joining our program, we take it at the pace that feels comfortable for you. So if you're someone that's like, I know right now I'm doing nothing because I'm just so stuck. We're not going to be like, okay, we're going to change 7 things overnight and you're going to be on your way and you can't make a mistake. Absolutely not. We look at what you're currently doing and we're like, okay, let's tweak this or let's actually put some strategy behind it so you see results. And I think when people think about joining our program, they're like, I have to commit to making a change. And that's really scary. Like it's scary to make a commitment to anything. Your body's just doing its job, right? And not committing to something is to keep you from being disappointed, right? That's all it's doing. It's giving you less of a possibility to be upset or, disappointed in yourself or defeated again over and over and over again. But it's what keeps you stuck. Not committing to something and not saying, I want this to change is choosing it. And we tell our girls that all the time, what you're not changing, you're choosing. Even if you're not actively saying, I want this, if you don't want different, you won't have different. Truly the only person that's coming to save you is the version of yourself that's sick of your current situation. So there's going to be a part of you that's like, don't do it. Stay safe. Save your money. what if you fail, right? And there's going to be that scarcity mindset. But there's also a part of you that got on the call with me, right? That opened up, Annette, this is why I feel like I'm struggling, or I don't feel confident in my skin, or it's really manifesting in my career or my relationship or whatever it might be. And that part of you is fed up, right? But who's going to be louder? Is it going to be the version of you that actually really wants sustainable change and believes, I know in the past things haven't worked out, but I've actually never tried something like this before, and trusts in that? Or is it going to be the version that's scarce and is the reason you're stuck? And that part of you is clearly what's in control right now. She's the reason you're stuck. She's the reason, you keep doing something different, but it's just the same thing in a different form. It's restriction or under eating, over exercising, burning out, right? You're in this cycle, and it takes that part of you that's sick of it to be like, I'm going to commit to something different, and I'm not going to use everything that's gone wrong as evidence as to why this might fail too. A really big reason why I wanted to do one-on-one coaching and not just group coaching, group fitness was for like the customization piece. Again, just like Angie or our girls in the past, Sarah is a really good example. She's crushing her program and seeing insane results. She was doing everything beforehand, but now she actually has like an individualized program that's actually meant for her. Same with our like post-collegiate athletes, like Katie, for example. She was always taught to do group workouts. It was a coach made your team workout, right? And you never really had an individualized program. And now that they do, they're obviously seeing a lot of results, which is on the first hand why I did one-on-one coaching, but also because when you do things alone, you rely on motivation, right? And that quickly fades, as we all know. And also you kind of spin your wheels in your head. You're like, well, is this right? Is this wrong? Should I be doing that? Or should I be doing this? And you get in your own head and you keep yourself stuck. You end up not making a decision, or you end up just sticking with what you know, knowing that it's not working, right? And you keep fighting yourself back and forth. But when you do it with support, and why we give our girls a one-on-one coach is because you have someone literally walking alongside of you saying, okay, do this and do this. And, oh, you have that going on? Okay, let's pivot and let's focus on that this week then. And you have someone that's there for you all of the time. And we're looking at your life and your physique, your progress, everything objectively, right? There's a science to it that we know if we do this, you will see change. It's not just like a shot in the dark. Let's hope this works for her. We know that your specific program will work for you. And then we work with like the human side of you, because you're not perfect. You're busy. You're going to have plans. You have other commitments. So we try to work that science and strategy and weasel that into your personal life. And that's where the two join, and why having someone do it for you and walk with you and teach you will actually bring you to a spot where you've never been, because we are so much stronger together. And I say that all the time, but it's so true. We all have strengths, and then we all have areas of our lives where we lean on other people and they bring us to the top, because we're not getting to the top by ourselves, right? That's the beautiful thing about Embody You and why I wanted to make it a one-on-one program and not just something that I was like, here's your workouts for a group of you. Have fun. Let's hope it works. I genuinely didn't create Embody You for a beginner. It's not, and I'm not saying that in a way where it's like you have to be super well versed in the gym or you have to know nutrition or anything like that. That's not what I mean by beginner, but I mean that in a way that it's the girl who's tried things before and who's standing in her own way. It's not for the girl that's like, I've never done anything. I don't really care. I'm not motivated. That is what's keeping her stuck, but she hasn't even put herself out there or tried to make a change. Embody You is really for the girl that's doing the things. She's trying, she's checking the boxes, and she's like, I'm stuck. And yeah, that might end up making you be unmotivated and you're not checking the boxes anymore because it's not working. I don't blame you. You might start to give up on it and just be like, I'm accepting my current state because I don't know what I'm doing. That's who Embody You was created for. Every single part of Embody You was created because one of our girls needed it. So if it's the fact that we teach girls how to eat more food, it's because the restriction mindset broke that in a way, right? It made them the way that they currently are. If we are more habit focused, it's because the all or nothing mindset didn't work. If we're more geared towards long-term support, it's because short-term support fails. If it's because it's mind and body focused, it's because you can't have one without the other. And that's really what I love about our program is it's constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. We're investing in programs and opportunities for us as coaches to learn and experience and be able to help a wider range of women, because I've seen it. I've seen girls be stuck and I'm like, that would help her. And then when that happens, I'm like, and that can help her and her and her too. And that's how EmbodyYou started to grow and started to change, because we've seen what girls need and we've made that a part of our program. At the end of the day, you have to have an identity shift that you're not just someone who tries. You're someone who follows through. You don't need any more information, right? You don't need to keep learning about workouts or nutrition or keep doing all of the research. The information's out there. You need to learn how to work with your body and how to have your body trust you, because that's what stands in the way of commitment. I've talked about her before, but Kayla truly is someone who really embodied this mindset shift. She was someone who was trying. She's a night shift nurse. Her husband's deployed. She's trying to maintain a life, wellness, being a nurse that works the night shift, all of those things at once. And she was doing the things, right? But she was so disconnected from her body. She was like, why am I doing this and it's not working? I feel so inflamed and so bloated. I'm exhausted. I can't find something that works. That version of Kayla that followed through was already inside of her. She just didn't have an environment that supported her, right? That supported that version of Kayla that was like, I do it, I follow through because it works. That's the difference, right? What she was doing before wasn't working. It wasn't suiting her life, her lifestyle. It's what she knew and what she had learned, but it wasn't for her. And that's the gap that we bridge, is giving you something that's actually meant for you, meant for your body. And you will see results. You will see change, right? You will see that version of you that follows through and that doesn't just make commitments and then give up on herself because, well, the last time I made a commitment, it didn't work. The last time I tried this diet, it failed. Have you ever actually done something that was sustainable? You probably wouldn't be listening to this episode if you have. You don't have to convince yourself anymore, right? Your body doesn't need any more convincing that I'm just doing this wrong, or trying to pinpoint exactly what it is. Well, I think it's because I eat too many sweet treats at night. Or I think it's honestly my lack of sleep. Or, it must be the structure of my workout. We try to pinpoint and find a way to validate our current situation when really it's all that internal chaos. It's all of that distrust or the fear or the things that are keeping us stuck, where we're not actually learning what's meant for our body. We're just following trends or we're following social media. And that's, again, why I created Body Language as an addition to our EmbodyYou program, because every single woman should have access to the information that's about her body, right? You shouldn't just pick up your phone and scroll and try to figure out, well, what's wrong with me? What do I need? Instagram's not going to tell you that. TikTok is not going to tell you that. Until you've actually spent time learning about yourself, you're never going to know. And the real moral of the story is just to stop doing it alone. And that's honestly what I wanted to talk about today and just let you in on, is that you don't have to be alone or afraid or distrusting in your journey. Check in with yourself. Like, oh my gosh, I'm totally keeping myself stuck. It is a fear of commitment or a fear of maintaining my commitment. If I say yes to doing this thing, I have to actually keep doing it. That's what we're here for. You're human. We expect that. We don't expect you to join the program and be like, I've got everything. I know everything. I'm perfect. Not going to miss a thing. Doesn't happen. We've seen it all. We've walked girls through the highs and the lows and the normals, everything. And so that's what I want you to feel like, is you have a home here at EmbodyYou listening to this podcast. If you want to reach out to me, please do, because genuinely we are so much stronger together. And that's my goal in creating this program and creating this podcast. I hope today's episode gave you some clarity on maybe what's standing in your way, identifying your own evidence of, hey, these are the things that I'm saying, well, it didn't work in the past, so it's not going to work again. I want you to be able to identify those, because once you do, you have awareness and you're able to avoid those in all of your future endeavors and your future decisions. I'm always here for you. My DMs are always open. Send this to someone you love. And from the teacher in me to the teacher in all of you, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'll see you next Tuesday.